Okay, this one, man, I always say it's going to be quick. I'm sitting out here cranking out the most epic content ever. If you're not interested in the truth about your health, then I'm not the guy for you. If you're interested in pharmaceuticals and you think that's the answer, we're not going to get along at all. Listen, so I got asked the other day a great question. It was about Tesofensine and Retatrutide. And I thought, that's actually a pretty interesting question. One is oral, one is injectable. And I started thinking, never actually contrasted the two of these, but they're radically different and they do different things. So there's a time to use one, there's a time to use the other, and then there's a time to use both. So I'm going to go over this whole thing. And by the way, before I even get started, nothing here is meant to treat, cure, prescribe, diagnose, advise. It is all hypothetical, educational, and just for entertainment because I'm such a fun fucking guy. All right. Yeah, I'm that doc. I curse. It's okay. I still got some coffee in my mug. Look at that. You know what I'm going to say? Blacker than a witch's crotch. I just had my Monday Q&A, the Unbreakable question and answer. Man, I got new Black Card members. These guys, they're coming in to just learn all about protocols and dosages and how to do it and what to do and how to mitigate problems and solve diseases and talk all the stuff that I can't say on here. Why? Because apparently the freedom that we have is just not that free. But again, that is an entirely different podcast. I am out here to disrupt the entire thing, help everybody I can. So if you don't like what I have to say, get the hell off my channel. Because I don't come out here for me. I come out here for you. Because I show up here every day because I give a shit about you. And it's genuine. Again, people are like, well, you talk about your stuff. No, I don't. I always say the same thing. Buy from Elite Biogenics. Don't buy from Elite Biogenics. Be a guy that complains because you're lying about getting some and then not, missing a vial or whatever. Like, it's always weird to me when people do that. I'm like, dude, you dishonest. You're just so dishonest. I got nothing to say. You know what I realized? The only people that complain and whine about anything are the ones that have no life whatsoever. So I don't know. I know you come on my channel and start complaining, whatever. I'm going to try and knock out a bunch of questions by there just for you guys. You guys sent me over 1,100 questions. Believe me, I try to get to all these, but some of them I have to put some thought into. Make sure you guys get the right answer. I don't want to give you the wrong information. So I love when people go, that's not true. That's not how it is. Well, what do you ask me the question for then? So let's get into this, right? This is awesome. This stuff's fun for me. You can tell I'm lit. My Monday Q&A, my 5 o'clock call, it's part of most of the memberships I have. Not all of them, but most of them. And it is worth it. Trust me, it is worth it. I'm not saying that because I run it. I'm saying it because everybody in it goes absolutely worth it. But get honest with me just for a second, please. The struggle with everybody right now in the world is the lack of truth. And then trying to hold everybody else accountable for their own lack of truth when they can't even hold themselves accountable. It's like they're ruthless with others and just tolerant of themselves, which is Marcus Aurelius, right? And that's the truth right now. We have commercialized and politicized and poisoned with social media and pretty much, you guys, man, we've mystified the most simple equation in the universe, regardless of the science you're looking at, energy balance. It's now this morality play. It's a sin. Look at it. It is a sin. It's considered a character flaw. It's not. It's a biological equation governed by endocrinology and human biology and molecular signaling and whether or not you're fucking working the right way. And for the first time in human history, we are no longer just throwing rocks and random things at the problem. We're actually deploying things that do the job properly that aren't riddled with gimmicks. Oh, the gimmicks and nonsense are out there. Here, I'll help you. Anybody selling a single oral peptide, a single one, put them on live with me. I'll set your hair on fire. Absolutely not. They do not work. I see these scumbag oral peptide dealers. It makes me want to smash them all with heavy things. You are a lying scumbag if that's what you're doing because you're taking people's trust and you're using it against them because they trust you because taking a pill is easy. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Physiology proves that it doesn't work. So unless your magic biology is different than everybody else's, it doesn't work. You want to argue with me? You can. I will burn your eyes out with facts. But listen, when it comes to weight loss, listen to me. This is so effective. There are only 2 advanced like ICBMs, and they're just intercontinental ballistic missiles. It's just the only reference I can come up with. Tesofensine and Retatrutide. No tirzepatide, no semaglutide, no ephedrine, no thermogenics, no whatever else you're going to take. No, these work the best. Most of you guys are being sold on what they are based from people that don't understand any of the physics behind them. So you're buying the wrong one with the wrong idea of what it's going to do, and then you get the wrong results or no results, or they cause more problems because you have others. That's why people join my group, by the way. Because just throwing things at the wall, going, I heard it does this, I'm going to take it. Nobody in an emergency situation is ever going to do that. But if you think doing that in every day is any different, it's ridiculous and you're ignorant. of your own biology. You should understand it. It's like these guys are arguing the paint job on a fighter jet. It's still a jet, man. So I want you to understand the avionics behind why the jet flies and why you have one doing one thing. One is a bomber and one is a fighter, right? Everything, the fuel, the guidance systems, all of this stuff. When you understand the physiology behind why things work in your body, what to take and when, it makes things just screamingly obvious. And then when you see these doughy idiots trying to sell you something, these Insta gurus and influencers trying to sell you a product, they're going to get mad at me. Good. Bring it. Bring it. You come to the mat, I'll put you to sleep. Bring it. You guys are liars. You guys are liars, man. I'm tired of these Insta twits telling you guys lies. This isn't pharmacology. This is applied human biology. So look at the brain, which is the command center for every single thing you do, regardless whether it's autonomic function or not. Tesofensine. That's what affects the brain. Yes, retatrutide it operates on the hypothalamus and it repairs some of the neurological issues about it, but that's not what this is about. I'll get to that in a minute. Tesofensine it's not a blunt force instrument. This is a very exquisite, precise, laser-guided, direct influence on your brain. It is a triple monoamine reuptake inhibitor. TRIs are what they're called. So let me explain what that means, because you guys just heard a bunch of big words and that doesn't even make sense. I had some guy I told you the other day, well, maybe what if people just want the information? Use fucking Google for something more useful than looking up cheat codes on your Xbox or your PlayStation. This is the wetware of your skull. It's the best way to explain this. Inside your brain, you have this communication between neurons, and it happens across a gap called a synapse. A neuron fires and it releases something called a neurotransmitter. These are chemical messages, for lack of a better explanation. And when they deliver the message, there's a specialized transporter protein vacuum that sucks them back up. It's called reuptake. This is the body's way of stopping the signal. So it floods the synapse and then sucks them back up. Okay. So you have to understand this mechanism, because this is how tesofensine works, by inhibiting that vacuum. So it works on three different things: serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. And they all do very different things before you start going, oh, I know what these do. Serotonin, when you think serotonin, people think mood. But in the hypothalamic arcuate nucleus, the appetite control center of the brain, serotonin is what controls satiety, your sensation of actually, like, I've eaten enough. It has a specific way of doing that. It does it by activating something called a pro-opiomelanocortin neuron, so POMCs. These neurons release something called alpha MSH. It is a peptide that literally says, stop. Weird. It's a peptide. It's the body's native language. I told you that. So it screams, knock it off, stop, right, to your hunger. It shuts it down right there on the spot. It's very, very effective, but it does it by inhibiting the serotonin transporter, the SERT. Tesofensine keeps more serotonin in the synapse. It amplifies that stop eating signal for hours. It's not just feeling full. This is a direct pharmacological command to your brain's hunger thermostat. It's like saying, nope, we're going to turn it way down to rock bottom and you're not even going to notice anymore, right? So that's the first thing it does. Oh, it does three. Dopamine. And dopamine, everybody thinks it's a cell phone and pleasure and all this. It is motivation is the easiest thing. It's the chemical that makes carb look like a reward. So this is where addictions come in, by the way. The nucleus accumbens, that's when I was talking about nicotine. It doesn't affect the nucleus accumbens, which is why it can't be an addictive substance. It pisses me off when people go, nicotine's addictive. I was addicted to cigarettes forever. Yeah, you were. You were addicted to the 15 friggin' pyrazines that are put in afterwards. You cannot be addicted to nicotine, period. Anyway, I digress. Nucleus accumbens. This is the reward center. So increased dopamine signaling reduces that hedonistic driven aspect of eating that you guys are like, oh, that felt so good. Yeah. Like you see a donut and your brain doesn't scream, I have to have that. Yes. Like I need it right now. Instead, it does this. I could care less. That's control, but that's not where it stops, because it also affects the prefrontal cortex. Dopamine it's critical for executive function. So things like focus and planning and impulse control. So when you inhibit the DAT, the dopamine transporter, tesofensine gives you some serious mental clarity and willpower to override that primal urge to stuff your face, and it breaks the cycle of the compulsive behavior. See, part of the problem is there's no addiction to food. You can't be addicted to food, because when you withdraw food, you don't have withdrawal symptoms. You can sit there and argue with me all you want, but when people go, a carb addict would disagree with you. Fuck your carb addictions. You're a liar. You have a psychological weakness problem. However, this will help. It's not the same as an addiction, by the way. I realize I talked about the nucleus accumbens and I talked about dopamine, but that's not what this is. Food doesn't make you addicted. Now, and I'm not going to dwell on these neurotransmitters because I could do this all night with this because I'm a neuro guy. I love this stuff. But norepinephrine, this is the next one. This is the gas pedal for your entire system. By shutting this down, by inhibiting norepinephrine transporter called a NET, tesofensine increases the sympathetic nervous system tone. Sympathetic system, right? And parasympathetic system, fight or flight or freeze. This basically means that you get an increase in resting metabolic rate, RMR, and it does it through something called thermogenesis, real thermogenesis, not the kind that just makes you feel like you're hot, but you're really burning nothing. Your body burns more calories at rest when norepinephrine is cranked up, and it promotes something called lipolysis, which is the breakdown of stored fat for energy. So now you marry this all together, and it is this cognitive override module, and its primary target is the CNS, the central nervous system. And it's for somebody whose hunger, this is the important part. You guys got to hear this. It's somebody for whose hunger is neurological and behavioral. It's that constant grazer, the stress eater, the person trapped in a loop of food obsession. It doesn't suppress appetite. It rewires the desire itself. So it doesn't do anything for your appetite. No matter what you think, it doesn't. It shuts down the desire. It gives you an operating system upgrade. Hypothetically, before you ask me, I'll just tell you, but hypothetically, if I was going to run this 0.5 to 1 milligram once a day, the half-life is long. It's about 10 days. So stable, steady state, concentration. You want to avoid peaks and valleys. So 0.5 milligrams to 1 milligram every day. So from that area, so we've got the dosage, we've got this, it's every day. You just want to keep it in a nice steady state. So you want to have the peaks and valleys overlap so it looks like a straight line on the graph, right? You have all these peaks and valleys, but the top of those peaks is what you're looking at. You want to keep that state. It's the same thing with testosterone. That's why a short chain ester versus a long chain ester, propionate versus an enanthate, night and day. They're going to give you a little bit of a different result as well, but propionate you're pinning every day. And a long, like a cypionate or an enanthate, long ester, your half-life is forever. So you can take plenty of days off between and you don't have to worry about making your next shot. You don't have to pin every day. So now go south. Go from the brain to the gut, the pancreas, and to the adipocytes, the fat cells themselves. This is where retatrutide shines in an epic way. If tesofensine controls the supercomputer and the strategic targeting system, retatrutide it's all the weapons and like the planes and the boats and the ships and tanks and all the stuff that's doing it. It's the laws of battle, right? All in one. So it's so wild. So let me back up. So if tesofensine is the conductor, the leader of the band, right, telling the band what to do, retatrutide is the orchestra. Retatrutide is the band. It's the band. It's the composer. It's the laws of acoustics. It's everything all kind of smashed into one. It is a single molecular triple agonist. What that means is it's this master key that fits into 3 separate hormonal locks all at the same time. I'll tell you, it takes a lot to impress me with peptide engineering. This one does it. This one blows my mind because it does things in the right way. So for all the semaglutide and tirzepatide people that are about to get really pissed off, what you're taking sucks because it is appetite suppression with good marketing. Knock it off. So if you look at the receptors for retatrutide, there's 3 of them. GLP-1. So you've heard about this one before. Glucagon, like peptide 1. It is an incretin hormone. Its job, you've heard these before, GLP-1. So there's 3 receptors, right? Let's hit all 3 of them really quick. GLP-1 agonism, glucagon-like peptide. Its job is to prepare the body for the incoming nutrient load. So let's look at the systems. Pancreas, it binds to receptors on pancreatic beta cells, and it prompts glucose-dependent insulin release, which is key, by the way, because it only stimulates insulin secretion when blood glucose goes up. Like, this is why you have to understand homeostasis. So it virtually eliminates the risk of dangerous hypoglycemia. This makes your body exquisitely sensitive to insulin again. Insulin sensitivity. You see where I'm going with this now? And then you move down to the stomach. Agonizes receptors to slow gastric emptying and motility. So it slows down what it's doing. It pours peristaltic contractions, all of it slows it way down. So food sits in your stomach a little longer and triggers mechanoreceptors that send this really powerful signal, vagus nerve signal, right, to the brain, which creates pretty much an unignorable physical sensation of fullness and satiety. You couldn't eat if you wanted to. It almost makes you want to dislike food. Not quite before you say, oh, forget it, I'm not taking it. You physically cannot eat a large meal because your brain says, no, I can't. Mechanoreceptors trigger the vagus, Goes to the brain says, forget it, I'm full, I won't do it. And then it goes to your brain and it crosses the blood-brain barrier and acts directly on GLP-1 receptors in the hypothalamus, which I think I said hippocampus, but it receptors in the hypothalamus, so it amplifies the satiety signal even further. That's only the first agonist. That's only the first receptor agonist. The second one, GIP. So GIP receptor agonism, glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide. That is another major peptide, just like the one before it. So GIP receptor agonism. So glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide. Its effects are profound, and complementary. All of these three they complement each other. And you can't have one without the other, because if you do, you run into all the problems that are causing all the crazy lawsuits with things like Ozempic. Back down to the pancreas. I told you, we're going south. From the brain, now we're doing pancreas, stomach, adipocytes themselves. Pancreas, like GLP-1, it stimulates glucose-dependent insulin secretion. And adipose tissue, this is where it's a little different. This is the superpower. GIP receptor agonism it's the fat cells, changes their behavior. So it promotes lipid uptake and storage in subcutaneous fat, the safer kind, over visceral fat, the more dangerous kind. And it increases adipocyte insulin sensitivity and metabolic activity. So it turns them from little inert storage bins into active responsive tissue. Remember, your adipocytes, your fat it's a living, breathing part of you that is very hormone sensitive and active. This helps remodel your fat. And that's only number 2. The third one, this one is the one that's like tactical genius. Glucagon receptor agonist. This is the one that differentiates retatrutide from everything else, and no, it cannot be oral. And adding IGF-1 to it or anything is not going to make it any better. Glucagon is the counter-regulatory hormone to insulin. They work to maintain homeostasis. It tells the liver to perform something called gluconeogenesis. It means to make new glucose. So you might think agonizing this would be bad, except it's not. This is a very strategic, calibrated action. The glucagon agonism does 2 critical things. Increases energy expenditure and hepatic fat oxidation. So it's doing more with the fat and burning it. So it directly combats metabolic shutdown that usually sabotages almost all weight loss. Never mind the fact that it prevents sarcopenia, because it gives you that counterbalance to prevent the body's starvation response, which is what is preserving the lean muscle during caloric restriction. That's why these guys that are going, well, that's why you have it managed, and you have to manage it with exercise, and you have to manage it with proper dosing. Wrong. If the system is not, if you're not, this pisses me off. If the system is being used to kill the appetite and burn the fat, which is GLP-1 and GIP, and it's not giving it something to do, it is going to torch the whole system. You do not have an option. It is going to choose muscle over fat because it's easier. Your body would prefer to burn muscle over fat all day. There's no amount of medical intervention or diet tailoring or physical exercise that can change that. That is your DNA. So all these knuckleheads, usually it is the naturopaths and the acupuncturists and the weird docs that have a squeak box in their office that do weird things to patients. They're all the ones that are going, well, that's why you have semaglutide and tirzepatide managed for 2 years. If you are on either one of those for 2 years, you have a problem, because that isn't doing a damn thing for you other than lining somebody else's pocket. You need to call me, not to sell you something, to give you better advice. You need to just listen. I'm not telling you to buy anything from me. I'm telling you, you need to listen to the guy that's going, for fuck's sakes, do the things that your body actually is designed to do, because here's why it chooses muscle over fat to burn when you do not have the glucagon agonist. Because muscle is much more metabolically active. Yes, adipocytes are just as they're metabolically active, not just as, but muscle is much more. Well, muscle costs. To run it, it costs. And your body goes, well, which one is going to keep me alive longer if I get rid of it? Get rid of the muscle. Despite what you think. Yes, I get it. Muscle allows you to take a hit. It makes you more resilient. It makes you tougher, makes you more resistant to disease. All of those things are absolutely true. But what it also does is make you more of a liability, because calorically you need more. Your brain says, I need to stay alive. So it's going to torch the fat as a last result, or as a last resort. That's why. So it's going to break down muscle, because it's going to keep the system operating at a lower metabolic load. I hope that makes sense. So if you look at retatrutide, it is a metabolic operating system update. It's the periphery that's the battlefield for this, not the central nervous system. It's more peripheral, PNS related. So gut, pancreas, liver, the fat. It's for people whose hunger is metabolic and hormonal, the pre-diabetic, the insulin resistant, the person whose body just goes to war to stubbornly defend that higher weight set point that no matter what you do, you just can't get over it. And it's frustrating. I get it. Now, hypothetically, if I was going to be doing this for my kangaroo experiment, Titrated protocol, by the way, is absolutely mandatory. You can't do anything. You can't start large and hope for the best. You're going to wind up throwing up in your coffee cup all damn day. Don't do it. I tell people to start low, hypothetically, for their experiments. 0.25 milligrams per week. If you go, I'm still hungry, I'm even more hungry, go to 0.5. Don't start at 0.5 because you can't untake something. Be a little less ignorant about what you stick in your body. 0.25, titrate up. 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 4, every week, every couple of weeks, as you can tolerate it. You can move to 4, you can move to 8, you can get to 12 milligrams every week, but you have to work up to it. You start off with 12 milligrams right now, you're going to regret and have nothing but hate for your own life for a good day at least, and horrible. It's not going to make you any better to make you feel like crap. You'll lose weight because it'll be coming out of your bark hole. Don't do it. But this is what allows your body to adapt and minimize the GI side effects that kind of come with it. They're significant because it's pretty powerful if you take too much. That's the way you start off slow. It's not that you're building up a tolerance. It's that your body is getting used to what you're putting into it to help you solve the equation. So here's the strategy, because who takes what? And I tried to list it off, but let me break it down in a very easy way. Because now you are like, I'll move you from all the theory that I just went over to the tactics. And so you actually understand what the fuck to do. And you don't need to ask some bro science knucklehead. You can actually ask a doctor right here that gives a shit about you. This is why, by the way, I have my Black Card membership. Yes, that's what it's called now. The Black Card membership is you can actually sit and ask me questions about all of this stuff. Peptides, protocols, dosing, all of that stuff. I talked about it yesterday. I will plug it like crazy. It is $59.97, as in $5,997. It is a $25,000 buy-in and $1,500 a month. However, I have 100 spots. Well, actually, I have significantly less now. But I had 100 spots at $5,997 because I'm giving people a chance. And that's for a whole year, which means you have access to a live Q&A where you can ask me all the dosing questions up, down, and sideways, and I will walk you through everything, handhold you from A to Z. Do you get my cell number? No. Can you text me? No. You're not texting me for $6,000. No. My one-on-one clients have my cell number and they pay me $100,000 minimum per year. But if this is something you're serious about and you actually want help instead of trying to figure it out on whatever AI platform or Reddit forum you're going through, and you think that they're going to give you the answer, okay, good luck. You're going to come back and ask me questions anyway in my stories and hope I answer it. Or you can just kick out $6,000 and get into a place where everybody, number one, wants you to win. And number two is you're going to get the right answer, because I am a walking billboard for everything that works. I've already talked about that and I prove it every day. And I actually give a shit about you. That's why I'm here, because it's late. It's like 7:30. I'm going to go in. I want to eat. I still have a ton of things to do. And I want to spend time with my wife and family. But I come out here because I know nobody else is helping you the way I do, because I care. So you have to look at, let me go over scenarios. So scenario one, the problem is between your ears, right? We go with a psychological problem, not so much the neurotransmitter problem, a head hunger addict. It's stupid, but it sounds funny. You eat out of boredom or anxiety or habit, and then your internal monologue is always this constant negotiation with food, and you know who you are. And if you take offense to that, then there's the problem. But you have decent metabolic health, but a dysfunctional relationship with eating. Tesofensine, without a hesitation. That's your weapon of choice. It will pharmacologically suppress or quiet the compulsive thoughts and crank up the executive function to make better choices and have better discipline and give you the metabolic boost to see very significantly rapid results. And it reinforces new behavior so you don't keep going back to it. This is like a neurological Dr. Phil. It's like an intervention that comes in without all the bullshit that comes along with it. Scenario two, your body's pissed off and it's giving you the finger. This one, your biology is broken. It's just completely broken. You're insulin resistant. You have intense cravings, crazy energy crashes. You feel hungry shortly after you eat a huge meal, and your body is going to fiercely defend the fat stores. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can have God tier will if you want. That's great. This is for people that want the help. So if somebody goes, that's cheating, go back to living with your mom. This is where adults play. Go sit at the kids' table. Retatrutide, because this is a hard reset for your metabolic machinery. It's going to force you to regulate your blood sugar and physically limit your food intake by the slowdown of gastric motility. And it's going to reprogram your adipocytes, all the fat cells, the adipose tissue, so they get used and instead of store, which is doing it via insulin. And it's going to also tell you to lean away from visceral fat, which is the damaging one. I mean, all fat is weight, but visceral fat's the one that'll kill you. This is a systemic hormonal Dr. Phil. We'll go back to Dr. Phil because he's easy. But there's a third scenario. and it doesn't give you an answer. It gives you a fucking retard answer. Or you go into Reddit, or you ask your bro down the street, or you send a message to an influencer, and you keep getting nothing but disastrous results, because all you're doing is scratching an itch and creating more spread of the poison ivy, because maybe there's other things going on, which is why you have a guy like me. So scenario 3 is complete catastrophic system failure. Overweight, significantly overweight, obese, fat. You're fat. You have this you have such intense psychological cravings, just massive metabolic dysfunction. You've tried and failed and tried and failed. Just about every other method that you've ever looked at or even read about or even sniffed in the general direction that everybody has tried to sell you on. You need a full spectrum dominant strategy that actually does its damn job. You need the stack. Hypothetically, Tesofensine and Retatrutide. You don't have to get fancy. That's it. If you want to mitigate some of the systemic inflammation that might come along with where you're at, not where you're going, then you want to add in BPC and TB500, but you don't have to. If you want to just undo this metabolic and psychological chaos that like CNS and PNS and organ failure that you have going on, you want to use both Retatrutide and Tesofensine, because it's not an additive. They're synergistic, right? One doesn't just add to the other. You attack the problem from every single angle. Tesofensine is what's going to govern the brain. It's going to control compulsion and boost drive and focus and give you the executive function and the discipline required that you need to maintain this. And Retatrutide is going to govern the body. So, right, we're going to brain and body, and you're going to manage glucose, increase insulin sensitivity. You're going to give you physical satiety. You're going to remodel fat so it actually is burning instead of storing it, because insulin is a fat storage hormone. This is going to help with all that together. It'll give you the most unprecedented caloric deficit possible with almost zero suffering. And if you're suffering, you bought bunk. The dosages together in a stack, hypothetically, can oftentimes be lower, because that way you end up mitigating all those weird side effects that sometimes come along with this stuff. Not bad, just stuff where you're either really wired or you get a little nauseated for a bit. And I mean, like, we're talking 20, 30 minutes, but you can probably lower the dosage with maxed out efficiency the whole time. This is the pinnacle of metabolic pharmacology, is the easiest way to explain this. Let me be brutally clear about what we're really mitigating. It's not vanity. If you're doing this for vanity, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you're going to fail. This is a direct assault on the pathologies of the 21st century. Your fucking health. Type 2 diabetes. It destroys type 2 diabetes. Just this alone has the potential to demolish type 2 diabetes and give it the finger and tell it to go pound sand. All of a sudden you look at your A1C and it's like, what diabetes? I don't have it anymore. And everybody looks at you and goes, what are you doing? What's your secret? You doing Atkins? Whatever dumb things that they're telling you. Must be Ozempic. Again, you can say, go pound sand. I reprogrammed my entire system and replaced all the machinery with a new upgrade. So type 2 diabetes, it handles it by restoring pancreatic function and insulin sensitivity. Cardiovascular disease obliterates visceral fat, reduces the systemic inflammation load, which is why I said you can always bring in TB500. You don't have to in BPC, but that's all the stuff that drives atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis. Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia. Both of these compounds, 100% neuroprotective. Insulin sensitivity in the brain is beyond critical for cognitive health. Why do you think this is showing up all the time? You think there's more or less of an incidence of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia? It's skyrocketing. But look at the shape of the average North American. They look like a beach ball because big is beautiful. Yeah, but your health says otherwise. How about cancer? Obesity is the primary driver in cancer. Never mind metabolic disease and chronic systemic inflammation. Reducing it is one of the most potent anti-carcinogenic strategies available to anybody. And yet you are being told that big is beautiful and it's okay to be 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds overweight. There are shows, My 600-Pound Life. Are you fucking crazy? You need to take your health seriously, you guys. All-cause mortality. You are literally extending your health span and your lifespan by reducing your weight. Oxidative stress does not happen nearly as bad in people that are lighter as compared to heavy. And that goes for giant muscular people as well, by the way. You're not meant to be 5'7" and 240 at 8% body fat. You might look like a superhero, but you function like an idiot. Your metabolism hates you. You have no more excuses, you guys. There's no more magical thinking. There's no more little fairy dust, whatever. I said goat powder the other day, unicorn dust, fairy blood, whatever you guys are buying in your pills and your creams. None of this. You don't need it, and none of it works. And I'm not coming out here going, but you have to do this. Look at my promo code. I don't have a promo code, first of all. Go buy from someone else if you want a promo code. Because I know how good we are, and no other company comes with a guy like me. Ever. No. It's not free, but I'm giving you an opportunity to work with someone that is the best on the planet, which is me. Call it arrogant, call it egotistical. I am exceptional at my job, and I prove it every day because I give a shit and I come out here and I try and help. It's tiring that some of you guys get in my comments and you act like just a bunch of juvenile fucking toddlers. And if you go, says the guy swearing, I cuss all the time. It doesn't change the fact that my pinky nail has more intelligence than you do if that's you. I love seeing people win. I love seeing people win with their wealth. So I help people build businesses. I love seeing people win with their health overall because I've been on the other side of that equation when I didn't have any. It was the most helpless thing I've ever felt because everybody kept throwing solutions at me and I knew none of them were going to work because every time I tried them, I got worse. My wife saved my life. She has breathed for me. You know that? I've been blue on the floor and she's had to resuscitate me. We're talking death rattle, my tongue. Yeah, when you're dead, she's heard it more times than anyone should ever have. By the way, once is too many. She's the one that went down the rabbit hole on remdesivir and said, baby, I don't think they're helping you. I think we need to leave. And sometimes I think about that. It makes me so angry that a doctor or a hospital or a pharmaceutical company, fuck all of you if you could ever hurt anybody. My wife was hysterical outside a hospital locked out while I was inside on life support. If you're one of those doctors, God forbid you're one of the doctors at the hospital I was at, fuck you, go right to hell. You cost people their lives of their loved ones. I don't care about your idiotic, self-righteous, virtue signaling bullshit about vaccinations. Go fuck yourself. I almost died because doctors and nurses and the hospital weren't doing their job. And my wife with no medical degree, I don't even give a shit. Most of your medical degrees, fuck all your medical degrees and your licenses, your credential bullshit. Screw you. I know personal trainers that have an IQ that would put your pea brain in the cellar because they actually care about humans. My job, above all, do no harm. Doesn't matter that it says doctor in front of my name. It could just say the Spartan. It could say dude. If I'm out here to help, most of you guys look for a way to discredit people so you don't have to listen, so it makes you feel better for staying where you are. Yeah, but they're not telling the truth, so I'm not going to listen to them. Then you go back to acting like a muppet. So yeah, it makes me angry because most people take their health and their life for granted. How dare you? You don't have an excuse anymore. You have a guy that, and if you go, yeah, but I have to pay for your membership, you're damn rights you do. You want one-on-one with me? You damn rights you're going to have to pay for that. Because I have a no asshole policy. I don't want the bottom feeders, low-life complainers anywhere around me that just go, I want something for nothing to see if it's the next gimmick. So I price my way out of all of you if that's you. Or I price my way into you if you are the ones that want all the help. Because I give a shit. Nobody comes out here 262 episodes in a row that doesn't care. There's plenty of days, just so you know, I don't want to come out here. I don't want to give you the information. I don't want to help you. I want to throw my coffee mug at the wall and say the fuck with all of this. I've gone in the house angry and said to my wife, you know what? I'm done helping people. They're ungrateful and they just look for the next easy thing instead of actually doing the damn work to change their lives. They won't do the work to change their psychology that's required to do all the other work because everybody has an excuse. Everybody has an argument. Well, now you got none. If you are fat, if you are a fat, tubby sack of shit that you couldn't just stop shoving cake and cookies and ice cream and bottles of booze into your bark hole because you care more about yourself than all the other people that rely on you, that love you, that you're pissed off and bitter. Now you've got no excuse. Now you can lose all the weight. You can be the badass that you're supposed to be. Because these tools create the most powerful biological imperative ever designed for change. They give you the runway to build all the habits, the whole food training, the nutrition, the resistance, all the sleep hygiene, all of this stuff makes this permanent. If you marry this all together, Retatrutide, Tesofensine, if you need both, marry them together. If you go, it's going to cost me 10 grand. It wouldn't even come close, by the way. You could do a lifetime. It wouldn't cost you that much, which is mind blowing because people go, I'm going to go spend a bunch of money on a computer or a big screen fucking TV or a sports car that I can't roll my big butt out of, or a lawsuit against people that won't give me a bigger seat on an airplane because I can't say no to food. The goal is not a lifetime of medication. It's to use the most powerful signaling molecules to reestablish a new, healthy, upgraded, well-programmed homeostatic set point and become a person who no longer, like I said yesterday, needs the tools. You can stop these right away. Once you reach your goal, the goal is permanent unless you do the same stupid, poor decisions that you did once again, and you will get there again. If you never go back to doing dumb things, you will never have dumb results. Fuck around and find out. That's how it is. So choose the battlefield you want. Choose the scenario 1, Tesofensine, scenario 2. Retatrutide, scenario 3 is between psychological and physiological disaster. You need the full upgrade. So what? If the war's in your mind, Tesofensine. If the war's in your metabolism, Retatrutide. Is it everywhere? Throw the whole damn arsenal at it and win the fucking war. There's no science to argue about. I win. Biology's on my side. You got the tools, and I even just told you how to use them. Sometimes against my better judgment, but I care. I damn well care. So the only variable here is you. I gotta go. Never miss.